Welcome, everyone, to Explore Tech Careers, Career Pathways for Tuesday, April 6th. I'm Liz Jennings. I'm host of the Explore Careers website and webinars, I should say, and it's so glad to have everyone here this week. Each week, these Explore Career webinars will host a training organization, a couple of businesses who are currently hiring IT employees, and a career force representative to talk about ways to get into the IT and the tech industry. We will talk about training options if you need to upgrade your skills, freshen your skills, or give you a whole new toolkit than what you had been previously working in. And we will give you ways that CareerForce can help you on your career search journey. If you've attended any of the other Explore Careers webinars since January, you know that I always invite speakers to join us to dispel myths about working in the field, talk about the range of opportunities beyond what we might assume, and give pointers for submitting applications to their companies and other companies like them. So today we kick off April's webinars hearing about Technology Workforce Month resources that you can access. We're going to hear from two businesses that are currently hiring solid IT professionals in solid IT paths. And these paths are integrated within those industries. And then we're going to hear from a training provider that's helped people get a fresh start in the industry. And towards the end of the session, I'll make sure that you know about some of the CareerForce programs and training opportunities or funding opportunities that might be able to assist you in paying for some training if appropriate. So again, like I mentioned, please enter your questions in the chat area, and we'll read a couple of questions as after each speaker as we flow along. And first, I would like to introduce you to one of Deed's workforce strategy consultants, Adeshewa Adesiji, who's going to introduce us to Technology Workforce Month. Adeshewa, can you join us and tell us what the governor's proclamation is all about?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Liz, for inviting me to join your Explore Careers webinars. Good afternoon, everyone. As Liz mentioned, my name is Adeshewa Adesiji. I am a workforce strategy consultant here in the 7-county metro area, and along with Liz, one of the coordinators for Deeds Tech Month. So, of course, this is the first year that we are doing this. Of course, with the first time, there's trials and tribulations. There's going to be a lot of new things that we're going to dive into, but hopefully you find this month and all the events that are occurring during this month very helpful and beneficial to you as a current tech professional or someone that's interested in getting into the tech field. So at the beginning of the month, of course, we have the governor's proclamation officially declaring April as Tech Month. As you can see, we're home to over 100,000 people working in information technology occupations, 3.8% of total employment in Minnesota, while the national average is 3.4%. So the reason for putting together, I'm sorry, is someone talking?
When you click this link, you're going to download something, okay?
I believe someone is okay, thank you. As I mentioned, 3.8% of total employment averages at 3.4%. Technology is one of those industries that by itself is a strong force, but it's also integrated into all other industries. So you have technology within manufacturing, agriculture, healthcare, retail, what have you. So we are becoming a more technical workforce, and so it makes sense to focus on this industry and how we can get individuals interested in entering or re-entering back into that workforce. So if you want to go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, April this year officially is Tech Month in Minnesota. Next slide, Liz. So what is the goal for Tech Month? So there's technically two goals. The first is to highlight Minnesota's technology industry. Once again, showing that it is an important industry within Minnesota and that it's here to stay, it's going to grow, and is integrated into all other industries here in Minnesota. Also, to promote activities and career opportunities in the tech industry to Minnesota residents. So it doesn't matter if you are a current professional with years of experience or you have no experience and you are interested and curious about what it takes to get into the tech industry. Hopefully there is one or several activities that will be occurring during the month that will fit your need, and it's something that you'll be interested in joining on that activity. So just as a snapshot, just kind of supporting the reason as to why we decided to go ahead with this Tech Month initiative. Estimated 93,300 computer occupations in Minnesota. And is anticipated between 2018 and 2038, at least 10,000 new computer occupation openings in Minnesota. The metro area accounts for the largest share of Minnesota's information technology. Of course, in the metro area, you're going to find the majority of companies that identify as tech companies or other companies in other industries that have large tech hiring needs. So while the region accounts for 62.7% of all jobs in Minnesota, 85.3% of the state IT jobs are in the 7-county metro. So definitely when it comes to tech, the 7-county metro area is the region that has the majority of the tech jobs. Next slide. So as I mentioned, when we were putting this together, we wanted to make sure that there were events for everyone, not only job seekers, but employers and technology organizations as well. So some of the events that have been planned for this month includes panel discussions on April 21st. And so in about 2 weeks, there will be a panel discussion on BIPOC Minnesotans in tech. So talking to some individuals from the BIPOC, and if you do not know what that stands for, that's Black and Indigenous people of color communities that are professionals in tech. So having a hour-long conversation with them about their experiences in tech. Of course, there will be weekly blogs to focus on some of the topics that we find within tech. Of course, these weekly Explore Career webinars that Liz so wonderfully put together. There is going to be a virtual metro area tech career fair hosted by the city of Minneapolis on Thursday, April 27th. There is an award ceremony that will be going on next Wednesday, the 14th, through the IT Center of Excellence. It is the Aspirations in Computing Awards, where they highlight and acknowledge young women that are doing good things in the industry of tech. There are also resources such as short-term trainings, current Minnesota tech job postings, and then for employers, there are events such as the Department of Labor and Industry holding an apprentice webinar focusing on the tech industry. There is a current tech grant, training grant available for employers that you can find on our tech page. And then also for employers and technology organizations, resources, ways to contact and reach out to myself and others on my team and other DEED representatives in their areas to help them with their tech hiring needs. So all of this can be found on the website, which is at the bottom of the page, careerforcemn.com/techmonth.
Great. Thank you, Adeshayla. Yes, definitely go to the website. I put it in the chat area, and then there are different links within that page to get to the calendar. Adeshayla, myself, and a couple of other people on the team have been really working hard. So we're so looking forward to everything going on this month. Thank you.
Yes.
I want to now hear from one of the companies. We are really privileged to have John Hacker, Chief Financial Officer of Design Ready Controls, and Amanda Gregory, Director of Marketing for Design Ready Controls, to tell us about their approach to career pathways, how they have integrated technology and IT completely within their manufacturing worlds. So welcome, John and Amanda.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for having me, and Liz, thanks for inviting us. And we're excited to share a little bit about our story and what we do. If you can go to the next slide, that'd be awesome. I'll just get started. So who is Design Ready Controls? We started over 30 years ago. We have 400 employees nationwide. We're a control panel and wire harness manufacturer. What does that mean? We build the control panels and harnesses for large OEM manufacturers of some sort of other equipment. About 80% of our business is in the HVAC world. So we're building the controls that make large commercial HVAC systems run, turn on, turn off, bring in cold air, bring in hot air, so on and so forth. We self-proclaimed ourselves as the most automated control panel builder in the world. That's how we get invited to things like this when we start talking about technology. You can go to the next slide, please. So what are we about? We're really about what our core values are. And our core values are innovation, collaboration, candor, integrity, and earnestness. So from an integrity, we want to be consistent with what our methods are and how we teach our people and how we interact with our customers. Earnest, are we sincere about what we say and do and how we do it? Candor, are we honest? Are we fair to all of our people and our customers and our suppliers? Collaboration, in most every job and company and anything in the world, whether it's schooling or anything, you have to be able to work as a team. Team approach is very important to us. And innovation is really probably our biggest. That's why it's also the biggest bold type there. That's man is big doing. We want to lead from a technology side of how to drive manufacturing into the next century. And we think we've done that in our time, and we continue to look how we can innovate the process of building things and using technology to do that. Go on to the next slide. Where are we located? We're headquartered here in Minneapolis, Brooklyn Park, right off of the corner of 169 and 610. And then we also have manufacturing facilities in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Richmond, Virginia. Next. So how do we work? How do we use that technology? We use a lot of data process. Go back. Yeah, just stay right there while I talk. Thanks. A lot of machines to do the processes that we do. One of the biggest ones is that machine on the left. It's a Comax wire processing machine. And we've integrated the technology to talk to that machine. We were the first ones in the United States to have one of those wire processing machines. And we're also the ones that have automated its process in the most advanced way. We take our engineering documents and feed that right to the machine so that it knows what wire lengths and what information to put onto those particular wires, so that in the manufacturing process we can go a lot smoother and quicker. A Perforex machine is a machine that cuts holes in the boxes that we use for our panels, the metal boxes, and so that it'll cut that. And we also link in our engineering documents into that so that it can perform better, quicker, faster, and use that technology to improve our manufacturing process. Now you can go to the next things.
You have great little animations in this slide, John, and I was trying to get them to play. There we go.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, as you can see there, that one's just, it's cutting the holes, and you're linking the files into that machine so it knows exactly where to cut it and how big to cut the holes, and you have all your different tools and dies into that machine. And then the other one, I think you can do let's make that one play too. Yeah, so it's taking here and taking wires and actually plugging it into an end that would go into then the panel, so that a a builder doesn't have to do that by hand. It's terminating one of the ends already, and then the wires are at the length that they need to finish the process once they start to build the panel.
That's great.
So what kind of approach have we talked about in terms of getting a career path, right? Career path is essential for any employee, right? They want to understand not only what job are they going to do, but what are their opportunities, and so then is this the right place for them? And we've really taken a kind of a four-pronged approach, and we focus on internal training, external training, defining those career paths for them, and then bringing further education so that they can develop more skills. Go on to the next one. So from an internal training, about 3 years ago, we completely revamped our internal training process, and we use a peer mentor trainer based model. We created all new manuals and videos, and then we created a training certificate program that's internal to ourselves. But for each job function, there's certain certifications that you would need to be able to do those jobs and to move up and advance your career path. Getting those certifications is a big key part. And we want to set each employee up for success as they move their career forward. So the certification is key. It's get you the training before you go do the job so that you can be successful when you get to that new role that you've moved your way up to. All right, you can move on. Some of the things that give that support and structure are that, like I had said, the peer mentor trainer, the on-the-job training, the job certification, and then each job function has a level that's assigned to it. And so you can start at the basic level, and within that job, you can move up levels. And then as you change jobs, those jobs then also go up to a higher level. And so you can see a path of, if you want to be at, say, a level 10 type position, you can look up in a grid, what is a level 10 type position? Say you're at level 3 now, and you can then map out a path of how I can get there, and you can see what certifications that you need or any other additional training you may need to get there. So if you want more out of your job, or if you see somebody doing something that you think is really cool, you can easily look it up and go, how do I get there? How do I gain the skills to get to do that job? And here's an example of that grid and what types of positions are within each grid from our manufacturing side of things. And move on from here. And a little bit more from our manufacturing and engineering side of things. You can see what levels and what certifications or education are needed to get to the various levels. So if you're looking for an engineering type job, you can see what degrees or years of experience can get you to that. And a lot of it has transitioned from the manufacturing floor into the engineering office as well. So it really creates a good career roadmap for all of our employees that want to come up with more advancement. Move on to the next one. And then we talk about external training, and we have really good relationships with Minnesota State Mankato, Bemidji State, Summit Academy, and Hennepin Technical College. Hennepin Technical College, we've partnered with them for the last, I think, 3 years now, and they offer on-site classes to our employees only. So it's located at our facility in Brooklyn Park. The teachers come in once a week on Friday to teach a regular Hennepin Technical College class that's in one of their degree programs, but it's only for our employees, and it's right here on site, so our employees can finish their shift and then start the class before they go home. So they don't have to drive off to wherever it is that they would want to go for the Hennepin Technical class. They can just do it right here. It's much more convenient, and we pay that 100%. And then those programs morph into other more advanced programs that are at Bemidji State or Mankato State. We also partner quite a bit with Summit Academy in terms of getting new hires for our testing area and our wire processing processing area as they come out of their electrical apprenticeship program. Some of them decide that they don't want to become an electrician. They would rather go work for a great company like ourselves. And it's been a great partnership that we've had with Summit probably the last 2 years or so. Move on to the next one. A lot of these programs with those, we use the pipeline program through DEED in supporting our employees to go back to school. So that's whether they're going for a 2-year program, a 4-year, the onsite classes at Hennepin Tech, or a master's program as well. We've so far put over 30 employees through that program, and it's a great benefit to, obviously, to our employees who are getting the additional training, but also us as an organization. On to the next one. We have some incentives for going to get those in education as well. We give wage increases for each course that you take. If you finish your 2-year or 4-year program, we increase your wages as well. And then it's a requirement to become some of the higher level positions is to have a 2-year degree, so that you have that education background to perform some of the tasks that are within that area. On to the next. One really good example of somebody who started in our production floor and then worked their way all the way up into, I would call it a more technical job over his time here is Mark Fujitaki. He's currently our test and automation engineering supervisor. And he started his college career right out of high school and went into microbiology, and then he figured out he didn't really like that. So that's when he came to work for us. He kind of quit school and came to work for us, and then found out about electrical engineering. And so he went to get his associates from Dunwoody. If you can go to the next, it gives a better timeline. And then when he started with us, he started as in our 5S, our lean department, and then he became a tester and worked. And as he was doing this, he was continuing to go to school at Dunwoody that we were helping him pay for. And then he found an opening in our electrical controls tech, so in our engineering department, and moved his way over there. And then he started doing the industrial engineering at Dunwoody. And then he became an electrical controls tech level 2, and then he worked his way up to a electrical controls engineer. No, it's kind of the end of the path, but I'm filling in some of the blanks of towards the end of. And then he's moved his way up to a supervisor of all of our test and automation. And he's not the only one that has moved their way up throughout their career here at Design Ready Controls. He's one of our more recent ones, though, that has moved his way up. Probably the biggest example of somebody moving their way up is our CEO, who started 14, 15 years ago as a eBay salesperson part-time, and now he's the CEO. So it's we really value our employees and want to promote the skills to get to the next level here at Design Ready Controls, and we have several examples of people that have taken that, and our commitment to educating them and helping them pay for that as well. Now you can go to the next one. Need my glasses now for this one. So it's just creating those alternate career paths, and people don't know necessarily what they want to do. And a company like ours has a lot of variation in the careers that we do have. And yes, we're a manufacturer, so yes, we have a lot of production and type employees, but it gives them a great opportunity to figure out where it is that they might want to go and what they have interest in. And if they have interest in technology or wiring or building things with their hands, it's a great place to start. And we have people all the time that go from our production floor to our engineering department, and then engineering could be a mechanical engineer, a manufacturing engineer, an electrical engineer, a software engineer, and And we've really found the people that start in a production environment are much better at those engineering jobs than the people that don't, because now as they're helping design how to build it better, build it faster, redesign it so it works better for the customer or whatever it is, if they built it already, they're much better at understanding how that would go. And so it really gives a lot of different paths. And this is just one example of if you're going from the production to a lead to a supervisor to a panel tester, and what different levels of education. As you can see, this was Mark's path. He started with no education in essence, except for a high school diploma. And then he worked and got his associate's degree. And here are some positions that he could apply for and qualify for. And then he got his bachelor's degree, and he's moved his way up into the next process. If we go to the next slide.
John, we've got about a 1 minute left, and I'd
All
like
right.
to be able to get to
Yep.
a few questions.
Yep. And so what are our open positions? We have lots of open positions. The best way to find those open positions is go to designreadycontrols.com and look at our open positions. They're updated constantly. I think at the next slide, we'll have Andy Smith, our human resources manager, his contact information. It's really a hard name to remember, andy.smith@designreadycontrols.com. So reach out to Andy or just go to our website, and those are our open positions. We have a vast array of different positions, from more technical to more hands-on building, but anywhere and everywhere in between.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a family member acquaintance in the engineering and manufacturing world, and I know very well that software programming is part and parcel of their work on a weekly basis. It's not just hands-on work. It's a lot of, software, logic. Really, I've found that IT is really integrated with it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that we have done is most of our manufacturing softwares that we have are homegrown. We have our own programmers on site, so it's also another route a lot of employees branch into.
Great, thank you. What do you suggest for people that have not been in a manufacturing or a tech field in previous, but have years of maybe comparable work experience? Is there a type of opening that they should apply to?
That's a good question, and it really varies on what industry, or what their job function is and what they're doing. When we're looking at, if we're going back to that software programmer, right? If we're looking for software programmers, it is really valuable to have that manufacturing experience, because you understand then how to tailor a program to the manufacturing process. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't come to a manufacturing company. It will set you apart if you have that experience. But if you don't, it's, I say my background is finance, and I've always said when I would interview and before I interviewed here, it was, well, can you do this? Are you in this industry? And I go, well, it's accounting. It's numbers, and we put them together, and it doesn't matter it's 0 through 9. Those are the only numbers there are. And software coding, I think, is kind of the same. Do you know the language, and can you code it? But understanding how that coding works in a real world situation is beneficial. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, great, thank you. And to the person who asked about the high school positions, we kind of addressed that. So go ahead and message andy.smith@designreadycontrols.com. Tell him that you were on this presentation with John Hacker, and feel free to ask him some questions. So thank you very much, John, for being on this call, and thank you to Amanda Gregory, his colleague that put everything together too. So glad to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. I would love to move don't mute myself, move on to IT Career Lab and invite Jared Fessler to talk about their training program. Jared, are you there?
I am. Hello, Liz.
Welcome.
Can you see me, hear me? Thank you so much as always. I'm so excited to join today and happy Tech Month. So yes, I'm with IT Career Lab. We are an IT training certifications and careers pathways program. We are located in Golden Valley, and currently we are remote at this time. So just to kind of clarify too, we are also a branch off of National Able. National Able is a nonprofit workforce development agency. We are headquartered in Chicago with locations throughout the Midwest. IT Career Lab is a branch of National Able. National Able has been around for over 40 years, and we've been around since 2012. We've been here in the city since 2018. Next slide. So these are the 3 IT Career Lab courses and certifications that we offer. So we offer Microsoft 365, Windows 10, the MD100, and actually now the MD101 exam. CompTIA Network Plus, and the Cisco Certified Networking Associate. So the minimum age to attend our program is 18. There are no prerequisites required other than we just ideally coming in with some IT work experience or like a plus certification is always helpful. Next slide, please. So distance learning during the pandemic, we are currently in pandemic time. So we have made it very possible with a variety of software tools and web-based applications. So Microsoft Teams for classroom collaboration, Microsoft official courseware, including Learn on Demand for Windows and Microsoft 365 labs, the Cisco Packet Tracer and Test Out for simulated networking labs. So our labs right now are also virtual, and we have Zoom and GoToMeeting for lecture and class discussion. And then all students receive a personal laptop for their home study environment. And if you complete our program, you get to keep the laptop, which has a built-in webcam and microphone. Next slide there. All right, so things to know about IT Career Lab is we are a licensed training provider in Minnesota. We are WIOA eligible. We are on the eligible trainers providers list of Minnesota. Just make sure when you're researching us that you put National Able Network IT Career Lab. It has to have that full National Able Network and IT Career Lab in there. We are an official Cisco Networking Academy. We offer a 10-week and now a 12-week accelerated training program. All of our classes are certified instructor-led and cohort-based. We are offering highly valued certifications. We help you expand your network, build a professional profile, enhance personal brand. We also do interviews with industry hiring managers and recruiters. And we have a couple staff members on our team who work with on-job placements with students after completing our program, and we also offer alumni support services. Excuse me. Next slide. So our main funding options, IT Career Lab, we are the training provider, so we partner with many organizations that provide funding through the following grants below. So you want to contact us directly to find out which grant is the best fit for you. The grant process can take 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the grant. So on the left side are the grants that we offer, and on the right side is the things that we take into account for grant eligibility. So grants cover everything at 100%. All right, next slide. Some stats about IT Career Lab. We have a 95% program completion rate. 96% of participants earned 1 or more certifications, and the average starting wage for IT Career Lab graduates is $19.72 an hour. And if you want to learn more, you are more than welcome to attend our weekly virtual IT Career Lab sessions. You can register for those under our website, under the calendar section. Here are our next enrollment dates. We actually do have a few in April as well, that if anybody was interested in, if we got started this week, we could probably get you in. So the deadline to have everything completed is before each enrollment, and then our website is right there. And then if you or anyone you know is interested, please email me your resume directly, or you can send to the Minnesota@itcareerlab.org. I could put my email in the chat, or yeah, we'll put my email in the chat. But yeah, either way is fine. Oh yeah, here's our contact information. So Greg Sherbrun is our program manager, and then my information is right there as well. So yes, definitely please reach out. We are looking for anyone who is eager, who wants to pursue IT, who wants to commit to the training, and who wants to pursue career pathways into IT. So quite a bit of information in a short amount of time, but I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Yeah, just a couple of questions. What is the IT Career Labs placement rate of your graduates? Do you have that information?
Yeah, so I have a percentage. So our percentage after IT Career Lab is 70%. Hopefully getting that boost up higher. So we definitely support you and getting you prepared for interviews, getting you set up. But ultimately it'll be up to you, obviously, how you do in the interviews. But yes, right now we're at like around a 70%.
Okay, thank you. And we, to everyone who's asking about the cost too, we will be hearing from a career force dislocated worker program specialist. And so, as Jared mentioned in one of the previous slides, there is a cost to the program, but you may very well qualify for one of the grant programs.
Yep.
So, Jared, you said reach out to you about some of those
They can
things.
reach out. Yep, they can reach out to me directly, and I'll get them started in the process if they're interested. Oh.
Right. And then, like I said, we'll be hearing from my colleague, Jim Sutton, in about 15 minutes. So then we'll find out more too. Thank you. This is really good information. Do you have a sense, Jared, what's the most in-demand training of all of these options?
I would say all of them. They all were right through Cisco, and so all three of them I would say are all in demand right now for various things. Because it also depends on what part of the IT sector you want to pursue. But these are a great way to get into the world of IT.
Right. And someone asked, how frequently is the Microsoft 365 offered?
Yep, so the Microsoft and the CompTIA Network Plus are packaged together, and they are offered, I would say, on a bi-monthly basis. And then CCNA, because it's a little bit of a longer training, it is offered, I would say, on a tri-monthly basis.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, so we do have some dates in April, that later dates in April that we probably could get people if they started the process with me like this week. Today even, or that we could probably get them in, but June would be our next enrollment dates.
Okay. That sounds great. And I put your URL and your email in the chat. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'd like to now invite Ann Gibson. She's workforce development consultant with mHealth Fairview. And healthcare is another area that has a really robust IT technology department. So we've invited Ann here today to tell us more about how mHealth Fairview approaches technology. Ann, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks, Liz. So wonderful to be with our partners from DEED on the call today. Thank you for inviting us. And I am here just to talk a little bit about mHealth Fairview and who we are. We're a newly expanded collaboration among the University of Minnesota Physicians, and Fairview Health Services. So we are under one brand now, mHealth Fairview. We combine the best of academic and community medicine. We're focused on breakthrough care, research, and education. We have, under the mHealth Fairview brand, we have 10 hospitals and about 100 primary and specialty care clinics. And Fairview Health Services, which is a part of the mHealth Fairview brand, we actually have two additional hospitals under Fairview Health Services. We have approximately 35,000 employees, and just to give you a sense of the size of our IT department, we have about 800 people in our IT department. And so it's kind of fun to think about. I'm sure this is similar to other health systems in the area as well. Obviously, to support all of this infrastructure and all of the amazing, highly technical patient care that's going on, you need a really strong and robust IT department. So, some times people don't think of IT right away, but of course we have a large IT department, I think in every health system, of course. So also a part of our system is Ebenezer, Minnesota's largest senior living operator. They are also an affiliate of us, Fairview, and we do all of the hiring and recruiting for Ebenezer as well. And you can see they have independent and assisted living, memory care, transitional and long-term care, adult and intergenerational day programs, and there's about 3,800 employees are part of Ebenezer. And just to bring it back to the IT component, some of Ebenezer is supported by our IT network as well. So we'll address this more later on, but all IT jobs will be on our fairview.org/careers website. So Liz, you can go to the next slide. So a little bit more about working for mHealth Fairview, you and some of the opportunities and benefits and reasons to look us up and see what openings we have. And you can be benefit eligible at part-time, so that's a 0.6 FTE, otherwise known as 48 hours in a 2-week pay period. We have competitive benefits and pay, of course. That includes retirement contributions, health and dental. We have many career advancement opportunities, being such a large organization. We offer a competitive tuition reimbursement / assistance program and discounts with our private education partners are able to offer some discounts to our employees. We have scholarships and grants, and I'll talk about that more in an upcoming slide, and our apprenticeships. And again, there is the link to where you can find all of our positions. And for IT, you would just under specialty, just go to IT. That's the only drop down you need to fill out and select, and it will pull up all of our available positions in our IT department. So next slide. And then this is a little bit, again, more about the benefits of working at mHealth Fairview. All of these are what we call stackable benefits, meaning you can take advantage of our tuition assistance / reimbursement program. And if you're going to a private school where we have a partnership, you can also be getting their discounts. You can also apply for, we have a scholarship program that's offered once a year in the spring. And there's a number of different scholarships, anywhere from approximately about $1,000 to $1,500. We even have some that include family members, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, where there's a application process where you can get some funding help with their education as well. We are always, especially in the workforce development department where I come from, we're always looking for grant opportunities to help further develop our current workforce or help hire into new positions. So these are just a few examples, a few that pertain to IT. We have a wonderful partnership with the city of Minneapolis and Augsburg, and we've been able to take advantage of the Tech Hire Grant for a number of years now. We have 3 winter IT interns with us right now. We have 1 IT apprentice, and I get a lot of questions about that. And just to address that up front, we are nearing the end of our Minnesota Apprenticeship Initiative grant, so we do not have any more openings for that right now, but there are many other opportunities in IT, but I know that's a question I always get. We had another grant where we were able to use 6 rounds of funding to what we call upskill or provide further training to our current employees. So that's just an example of some of the opportunities, and we're always looking for more programs like this to support our employees. So we can go to the next slide. And this is just to help you as you're searching through our openings at mHealth Fairview. This is just kind of what a career trajectory might look like with us. This is our various titles, and kind of to help you depending on where you are in your skills and experience. We of course have our internship programs. For high school, we primarily partner with Genesis Works. We also have a step, I neglected to have include Step Up and Right Track on here. Of course, we have very strong partnerships with them. We also have our summer internship program, where we hire usually about 6 to 12 summer interns, and in the winter, it's our partnership with the city of Minneapolis and Augsburg. And then our entry level titles will all end with associate. And then going up from there, you would move to an analyst, senior analyst, and you'll kind of see the trajectory there on this slide. And so that's really important to think about kind of where you are in terms of your experience. I pulled our list of openings this morning, and we have 38 openings as of today. And 4 of those are associate level roles. So I didn't mention to Liz, we have for our entry level roles, they're really, to be honest, highly competitive. We can get 100 applications or so for those associate level roles. We don't have any problem filling those roles. But I mentioned that not to be discouraging, but to encourage you, if you apply and for some, and if you don't happen to get an offer that first time around, keep trying. Associate positions come open from time to time, and with that many applications, you never know if you're applying and it's the last day of the posting, or it might just be a timing thing. But just keep giving that a try. But we don't have a ton of entry level openings, but I would say where we have more of a challenge filling roles is in kind of more of the senior level positions. We have, I would say, the 4 areas where we have a low level of applicants, meaning there's a lot of opportunity for job seekers, would be in our data warehousing positions, network core infrastructure, cybersecurity, and unified communication engineers. Those are more senior level roles. And then I would just direct you to our job postings, and each job posting will say what specifically is required in terms of certifications, any education, experience, things like that. For the entry level roles, what sets I think applicants apart is a Network Plus or A+ certifications are always very helpful, and especially an interest in healthcare. And I'll speed up here a little bit, but did we miss a slide there?
No, you were talking about resumes, so
Oh,
I
okay.
thought maybe I'd forward to the resume slide.
Oh, okay. Was this the next one after? Sorry, I think I
No,
got.
we'll go back here.
Okay.
Pictures of your
Was
interns,
this okay?
and then
all right.
the
So
story.
okay, can you back? Sorry, Liz, it threw me a little bit. Can you go back to? Okay, there we are. And then the next one was the intern slide.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And the picture on the previous slide, these are both examples of our interns. This was from last summer. I think we were one of the few employers. We were really pleased to be able to continue our internship program even through the pandemic. We did our first ever remote internship. And the students were really amazing and flexible and great and willing to, learn with us as we provide this opportunity. And we're doing the same this summer. So this was on their last day, actually, as they were turning in their equipment. So just examples of that. And then just another, Liz asked me to kind of share a great success story of one of our employees. And I just wanted to feature Sam Kagan. And he joined us. He's a veteran. He spent 11 years in the U.S. Army National Guard. He was deployed in Iraq. When he entered civilian life after the military, he started as a contractor with us in the Technology Service Center. He was willing to take any shift, any just really willing to do anything. Jumped right in. After 8 months, he was awarded a full-time permanent position in the overnight shift. He took every opportunity. He ended up participating in that dual training grant opportunity that I mentioned on a previous slide. He took several certifications and courses through that. And as you'll see here, he's been promoted multiple times, and he's now a supervisor in our clinical support services. He's featured on the Office of Higher Education's website right now, and actually tomorrow they're hosting a webinar where they will feature his success story as well. So just a great example of how we really support our employees, and that there's a lot of opportunity for growth in a healthcare career. And then just really quickly, I know we're running out of time here, but just these are kind of, I just jotted down some expectations, what really makes candidates stand out at mHealth Fairview. Really an interest in healthcare and IT. You know, our doctors, our nurses, our frontline caregivers, they couldn't do what they do without IT. And we are one big team at mHealth Fairview. And so that compassion and empathy piece is a key trait for everyone. Quick thinking, timeliness, good attendance and punctuality, that is part of being a good team member as well. Adaptability, I think we've all, in almost every industry, would probably say that right now, especially given the pandemic. We've just had to pivot over and over again. Professionalism, positive attitude, and customer and patient focused. And then I'll just point here, just in the interest of time, Career Force Minnesota, there's lots of good resume resources out there, but I recommend this one quite a bit. Always have somebody else proofread your resume. Keep it short, 1 to 2 pages, especially think about those entry-level roles where recruiters looking at 100 resumes, they're just not going to have, they're not going to be able to read through 4 pages of 100 resumes. So you really want to stand out as quickly as possible. And we'll go to the next slide. Applying online. So at mHealth Fairview, we do not have, I know in some large companies, there might be some technology where they look for keywords, or your application is filtered out in certain ways. We do not have that. We look at every application, but I will say the most important thing is to fill out your application in its entirety, or it will go in an incomplete bucket that the recruiters might not even see. That is my biggest tip to you. Fill out the whole thing in its entirety, pay attention to the details, answer things completely. And then the next slide. Interviews, I'm sure this is true of a lot of employers right now. Ours are still virtual right now. We use Microsoft Teams in place of in-person interviews at the moment, but you'll have a phone screen would be a first step. Familiarize yourself with the details about the organization. Know where you're applying. Know which healthcare organization you're applying to. Look us up. Read a little bit about us. Make sure that you're interested and know some details. Be able to expand on everything you stated in your resume and application. Have some great examples prepared, and always have some questions prepared, of course, for the manager at the end of your interview. And we can go to the next slide. This is our mission statement, and I think we're at the end. I hopefully got us caught up a little. And then there's my email as well. But again, I direct you to Fairview. Oh, Liz put it in the chat, which is great, our careers website. And again, just go to the IT for the specialty. Make sure you've read through the job description and required qualifications. That'll probably answer a majority of your questions, but certainly my email is there to be a resource as well.
Thank you, Anne. Yeah, no, this is all great information, and I really appreciate you even putting the information about filling out the resumes and the applications, all good tips. It's so easy to say, oh, it's in the resume, but
Right.
the systems need all of the information. So thank you for being here. And yeah, I do, want to encourage everyone on the call to take a look at any of, the mHealth Fairview or any of the other healthcare organizations in Minnesota, because I know every single one of them have departments like this. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Anne.
Thank you.
Let's go over and welcome Jim Sutton. Jim is a colleague of mine within CareerForce, and he's here to tell you a little bit more about the Dislocated Worker Program. I will let all of you know that we'll be going over time a little bit. If you have to drop off, do so. But we will just keep on going with the webinar, and then I will send out the link to the recording tomorrow morning after it's posted. So welcome, Jim.
Welcome. Thank you, Liz. Appreciate your invite, and welcome to everybody. We're glad you could join us today. My name is Jim Sutton, and I'm one of the employment counselors that administers the Dislocated Worker Program in the state of Minnesota. One of the things that I would emphasize on that particular slide, back to the first slide, is the URL for the CareerForce and identifying the various locations throughout the state of Minnesota. Next slide, please. So the Dislocated Worker Program, if I were to give you a Reader's Digest description, is that there's funds available for skill enhancement, and we match you. You're going to be working with professional counselors. We have the ability to steer you towards the latest labor market data using our state career projection websites. We're very familiar with a lot of the training programs throughout the state. We are required to use training providers and training programs that are on the eligible training provider list, and this list is compiled by the Minnesota Department of Higher Education and the Department of Employment and Economic Development. The other part is we like to hook you up and let you become aware of the various workshops being hosted through the CareerForce online. Currently, we are offering courses in Microsoft Office to include Word, Excel, PowerPoint. In this day and age, employers expect you to understand Microsoft Word like they expect you to know how to dial a phone. And we can work with you directly to explore upgrading or updating your skills as they are now. Next slide. So in terms of the program, a lot of times when you find yourself in transition, as we like to call it, it's a time to reflect, look at the horizons, what's my next move? In terms of the eligibility factors for the Dislocated Worker Program, first of all, number one is you have to be eligible for unemployment insurance. It could be a situation where you've exhausted your benefits and there may be another option to apply for in that regard, or you have a letter of separation from your employer that indicates that you've been terminated or you're on a severance type of agreement. And so we work with you to identify, what transferable skills do you have now? Is there a decline in the market for the current skill that you've been, or for the current occupation you've been in? How long have you been there? What is your age? Where are you in the realm of your work history? Is there a need to take on formal training? Is there a lack of available jobs that in your current occupation? So these are things that we review with you as an applicant coming into the program. Next slide, please. So if you're eligible for the Dislocated Worker Program, again, we will work with you one-on-one. That is one of the advantages to the program. Because it is an employment and training program, we encompass training you on the important life skill of job seeking. We put together a personal plan with you that's individualized. Again, we work with training providers throughout the state that are on our eligible training provider list. There are times, most of the times we're working with people and putting them through a short-term, very intense type of training because typically most folks are on that unemployment clock, and typically that runs 26 weeks. We realize that it's been extended by the Federal COVID Relief Act, but it's not going to last forever. And then certainly we will work with you to help you understand what resumes are effective, how to manage cover letters, how do you prepare for an interview, and questions that you can always expect, such as tell me about yourself and why you left your last job. There's some strategic responses to those questions that are important to understand. And we don't have a limitless amount of funds, so that can vary from one career force center to the other. And again, that's something that you work with your dislocated worker counselor. Next slide, please. So as Liz put here, thank you for that, Liz. Once again, this is the URL for the careerforcemn.com locations. To understand, we're going to suggest that you contact your local career force in your area. There are several different providers that administer the dislocated worker program throughout the state. For example, in St. Louis County, the city of Duluth administers the program. Scott County, the county administers the program. And there's many private nonprofit organizations that are also administering the dislocated worker program throughout the state as well. Go ahead, Liz. Liz was kind enough to put together some small videos that you can tap into here to get another review of the dislocated worker program, what is possible. Again, it's not an automatic given that you're going to be approved for training. That's a decision that's reached in partnership with your employment counselor. And again, it has to make sense, and there has to be a viable market for it as well. So in terms of the type of software training that we've put people through, I think, well, I know some of the previous presenters provided some various options in terms of programming: A+, N+, Security+. Security+ is always going to be present. Certainly one of the things to understand about the IT occupation is that once you get into it, you got to be committed to lifelong learning. It's not just learning a skill, it's constantly being upgraded. And the other thing about it is that you're competing against the rest of the world. So, I always tell people, well, what part of IT is least likely to be offshored is something to consider when you're looking at your training. And I believe cybersecurity is one of those options to consider. Go ahead, Liz.
Great, thank you. I want to point out too, Jim, that we have minnesotaworks.net as a resource. How much do you use that with all of your clients?
Well, it's good that you asked that, because minnesotaworks.net we require our applicants in Dakota County to provide us with a copy of the resume that they have posted on minnesotaworks.net. On any given day, there are 92 to 120,000 job postings on minnesotaworks.net across all occupational groups. So just a little bit of a word of encouragement with that, in that mind, is 80% of the jobs that are open right now across all occupational sectors never make it to the internet. So here you're seeing that 92 to 120,000 jobs on minnesotaworks.net, that still only represents 20% of what's actually open and available. And 75% of people find their next job through somebody they know as well.
Right. Yep. Thank you. So thank you very much for being here and talking about dislocated worker. I can tell from some of the questions coming into me that there is some interest. Jim, here's one question though. Someone said that they had signed up for a screening session, but no one had communicated with them. What should they expect when they sign up for a program online?
Well, typically, I'm going to suggest that you always follow up with the career force location that you applied at. If you're not getting what you describe as a timely response, I would definitely follow up. The various enrollment or application processes differ from one career force to the other, given the varied providers of the program. So to speak to specifics per career force or county, I'm not sure I'd be able to provide good in-depth information in that regard, but I would definitely encourage you to do a follow-up if you feel that things have lingered a little too long.
Great. Thank you very much. And
what other
thank you.
questions do we have, Liz?
Well, that was about it, and everything else had been answered in the course of the presentation. So we just really encourage everyone to contact their local, their nearest career force location and start the process. You know, ask them via email or phone to, you know, begin and inquire about dislocated worker.
Absolutely. Thanks
Great.
again, Liz, and thank you for joining us, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, and thank you again to Design Ready Controls and to mHealth Fairview and to IT Career Lab. This has been a lot of information. Want to remind you that there are other job fairs going around the Twin Cities going on. April 7th from 9 to 11, Anoka County and the northern suburbs area is having one on anokacounty.easyvirtualfair.com. The Metro region team is having another job fair on April 13th from 2 to 5. I'll send out these links when I send you all out the materials tomorrow. Come back next week and the week after, and also on April 27th. Well, we're going to continue to have these types of conversations with new training programs and new companies that are hiring. And here, I just wanted to put up the list, but go to careerforcemn.com/Tech Month virtual events to find the list of everything going on for Technology Workforce Month. So we've got so much more I want to tell you about, but we're going to leave it at that. And I look forward to hearing from you and look forward to seeing you next week. So take care, everyone.